Good morning. I am Paula Gribble, this morning's lay service leader, and I'm also the director of Lifespan Religious Education. My pronouns are she and her. Challenged by our liberating faith, we discover deeper spiritual meaning, nurture loving community, cultivate courageous connections, and partner in the work of justice. Welcome to all of you on the live stream and in person. We're pleased to have guests with us in this room and participating virtually. Following the service, you are invited to join us in Freeman Hall, which is just across from the sanctuary, for coffee and conversation. If you are new and want to learn more about the congregation, I encourage you to reach out to Kelly Green, our Director of Member Relations. Her email and picture are on the screen. We have large print orders of service, personal hearing assistance devices, and an elevator available. There's also a hearing loop in our alternate worship space, the Bernstein Room downstairs. If you or your family feel a need to move or be more active, you may be more comfortable watching and listening to the service in this alternate space in Bernstein. But in here, we do have coloring pages and fidgets for all ages. They are in the vestibule if that's useful to you or your children. Nursery care is also available for children under 6. A couple of announcements this morning. Next Sunday is our in-gathering celebration. During the service, we'll observe our water communion, one of our most beloved traditions. We'll also be joined by Carolina Migrant Network for our Share the Plate, and we'll ground ourselves for the journey ahead. Coffee hour will be a dessert potluck with games and something for everyone. And please be sure to sign up to bring a dessert. Bring a friend. Reach out to that person you haven't seen here in a while. Bring some water for the water ceremony, and let's kick off this year with joy. Children and youth religious education classes will begin on September 14th. Registration is now open for all ages, and we have some exciting plans. Our spirit play classes will continue for ages 4 through 1st grade. Elementary class, grades 2nd through 4th, will be doing a Lego curriculum teaching UU values. And then both our junior and our senior youth will be doing a photography UU values class. Sign up your children and youth now. More information about these opportunities and others can be found in your order of service, in our weekly newsletter, Currents, or on our website. Again, a warm welcome to each and every one of you, whether you're here in person or joining via live stream, whether today is your first day or your 1000th Sunday in our midst. We are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, origins, identities, and genders. We're all growing, all learning, all loved. It is good to be together.
Happy little bluebirds fly above the rainbow. Why can't I?
Good morning, and welcome once more. Welcome to this time of centering and gathering, of co-creation and curiosity. Welcome to this 5th Sunday of the month, and what a long month it has been. But like all things, it's another cycle of beginnings and endings, of returning again. I'm Reverend Amanda, and what a joy it is to be together once more. This morning, we wind our way to the end of the path of the Crossroads, our exploration and theme for this month of August. And what a joy it is to be joined this morning by Jessica Borgnis. Let's give her a nice warm welcome. As always, we come together as seekers and searchers, just finding our way through, guiding each other along the way. So this morning, we light our chalice in that spirit with the words of the poet Rumi. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come, yet again, come. And in that spirit, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet your neighbor.
Our reading this morning comes from Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong person stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again. Because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But it is who also knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends themselves in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if they fail, at least they fail while daring greatly. Please rise in body or spirit once more and sing with us, My life flows on in endless song. The words are on the screen.
I may not know a lot of J.R.R. Tolkien. If you were here last week, you get the reference. But Led Zeppelin, I know. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed, with just a word, she can get what she came for. And then there's a sign on the wall, and she wants to be sure, because sometimes words have two meanings. it makes me wonder. There's a feeling that I get whenever I look out to the west and my spirit starts crying for leaving. In my thoughts, I often see rings of smoke through the trees, and then I hear the voices of those who are looking, and it makes me wonder. Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road that you're on. And dear lady, can you hear the wind blow? Did you know that your stairway lies on the whispering wind? We've spent the month of August exploring the Crossroads, rich with symbol and legend and story, myth mixed with history, fact right next to fiction, one masquerading as the other and somehow uncovering whatever truth there is to be found. We've left our homes of the known and entered into the vast of the imagination, traversing the 4th century desert communes with wise elders and soul-searching in dark caves with monks. We've scaled tall pillars with the hermit and made deals and exchanges under the inky black skies of the Mississippi Delta with a man who sold his soul. We've unraveled in apocalypse and uncovered in revelation, finding at the center of it all faith and mystery, all laying in tandem. But the genesis of all of this is in that very first question posed on that first Sunday in August. What if things never got better? It would be so easy to wrap all of this up with the story of triumph and victory and of overcoming all the odds. It is so tempting to share a word about perseverance and staying the course and eventually winning, or so one would think. But for me, it's actually not all that easy, and it's not all that interesting either, because each and every single one of us knows that life just isn't that simple. Last week, I joked about The Lord of the Rings, that epic tale of a long and winding journey. And we began with those words from J.R.R. Tolkien that not all that glitters is gold and not all who wander are lost. And honestly, we could have substituted that story with any one of the thousands and even millions of tales of the reluctant hero turned victor. Isn't that just about every story anyway? Isn't that the whole point of the trope of the hero's journey, that most stories can and do fit right into that neat and tidy and predictable formula? And weren't we supposed to complete that hero's journey today? But here's the thing. All of these stories are told with a beginning, a middle, and an end. All of these stories can be told because they are told in retrospect, things that happened. We get the lesson and the power, we get the epic failures and the inspiring triumphs, and then the book ends, or the credits roll, or the last note of the song plays, and then what? Yes, stories are powerful, but they are lacking because there's one thing that none of them can do. They can't continue. They eventually do have to end. That's what makes such an easy narrative so hard in this context, because I'm a real person talking to real people, and we're stuck in the real world without a script, without a soundtrack. There's no director, no crew, no editor, no ghostwriter, just our pure, raw selves figuring it out bit by bit as we go. And we don't get do-overs, and there aren't any reruns or commercial breaks. We aren't myth and legend. We are flesh and blood, and our lives aren't merely symbols to be interpreted. It is the one wild and precious thing that we have. So it feels pale to talk about the hero's triumphant return, the end of the story. It's hard to talk about the end of the story when I know that at the end of this story today, this morning, no matter what major struggle I overcome, no matter what accomplishments I have to take my behind home and wash the dishes and scoop the kitty litter. That is my reality. It's hard to identify with the hero's victorious return when there's this one basket of laundry that I folded 3 weeks ago that is still sitting in my living room to this day. It might as well be furniture at this point. I think the cat sleeps in it. How is it that I wear the same 10 things and I'm always washing original laundry? It's one of the great mysteries of life indeed. The confusion of the crossroads, the wandering of the vagabond, the soul searching of the hermit, those are easier to identify with, especially in a tradition such as ours. These complexities of the human spirit, they're much more interesting than some shiny hero type, at least from this minister's perspective. And from a general human perspective, our eyes, they're drawn to complexity. Challenging characters, beautiful landscapes with hidden dangers, or dangerous landscapes with hidden beauties. Heroes that become villains and the weak that become strong. Our art reflects that awkward reality that we like being uncomfortable a little bit more than we're willing to admit. But our hearts crave the completion of the story. And therein lies the central conflict of the hero's journey, the conflict that has been with us, that has carried us throughout time, throughout history, throughout civilizations, and before any of them. Salvation, the massive conflict of salvation. And we yearn for it, for someone or something outside of ourselves to rescue us from this never-ending cycle, to carry us somewhere over that great rainbow where our dreams can finally come true. We try to earn our way out of it. We try to outperform it or outsmart it. We seek and we long and we build a stairway to heaven. We search for a way out. But what if things never got better? Or better yet, what if they just kept going round and round? Now, this question pushes up against our typically progressive notion that things have, in fact, gotten better. And of course, some things actually really have. We often reference hard-won victories for rights and equalities, abolition, suffrage, marriage equality, workers' rights, environmental protections, on. And some things have absolutely gotten better. And we absolutely must honor the hard work of so many that have come before us, and so many that are here right now who are doing the work of building that beloved community. But history didn't stop when achievements were gained. We're feeling that right now when so much of what we consider progress is being threatened or rolled back completely, and not for the first time, not for the 100th time. As power continuously changes from hand to hand, so does the idea of what progress even is. And it's becoming harder and harder to hold on to this notion of upward and onward. Ethicist and progressive Baptist minister Miguel de la Torre puts it like this: history is not defined through triumphant meta-narratives, but instead is a kaleidoscope comprised of contradictory and complex, untold stories of struggles and the very least of us who remain unnamed. And then there it is. The triumphant return of the victorious hero who vanquished all of the enemies and is a great ending for a great story. But that hero doesn't hold a candle to this unnamed everyday hero whose struggles will never be known, whose stories will never be told, those for whom even getting out of bed is sometimes a Herculean task of itself. Those everyday heroes who move mountains, but not to fight some mythological creature, but to feed their kids. The ones who, against all the odds, figure out a way to make ends meet at the end of the month, each and every month. The one who's in the arena, who comes up short again and again, but who dares greatly anyway. That is the true victory. But that's also the challenge, because our lives do flow on in endless song. We reach the end of the saga only to find another beginning waiting for us at the next stop, another train and then another one, and sometimes we can barely catch our breath before the next thing comes, but our hearts crave that completion. The crossroads are often conceived as an intersection of sorts. These two paths diverge in a yellow wood, like Robert Frost says. The assumption is that each road meets and then goes off in its own direction. We think of these paths that lead us somewhere, or a journey that lands us someplace eventually. Of course, we so naturally gravitate towards that linear motion, lines that go one direction or the other. But after all this, the crossroads start feeling more and more like a circle rather than intersecting lines. And not just any old boring circle, but that kaleidoscope of contradictions and complexities and beauty and mystery, the shapes and the colors and the fractals and the interconnectedness of it all. That interconnection. Now that's at the heart of the hero's journey. And the powerful message isn't at all, it's more of a reminder than anything that we've been here before. The same myths and the stories and the allegories and the legends, they arise through the collective expression of the human spirit over and over again because we've been here before. Last week I shared about how lost I get here in Charlotte all the time, and I still get lost, but I get found too. Because now I recognize things. I may not know where I'm going, but by God, I know where I am, and that makes all the difference. These stories, as complex as they are, they all point to this one transcendent and oh so simple truth that we are not alone in this. These myths, they don't have to be roadmaps, but they can certainly illuminate the path as we find ourselves in our own stories. As we embody each character along the way, as we are for others what people have been for us. As we become the student and then the teacher and sometimes the follower and other times the guide. Transforming in the cave or climbing the pillar and weaving ourselves throughout one another's sacred tales of love and loss and courage and truth-finding. Yes, we've been here before, and each and every time we cross that threshold into the unknown, we don't do it alone, and we don't go it alone either. Author, professor, and cultural anthropologist Joseph Campbell is largely responsible for our contemporary understanding and naming of the hero's journey. His seminal text, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, is among the guiding and leading authorities on power and myth and story and human history. Even the Star Wars creator, George Lucas, credits Joseph Campbell for giving shape and definition to that epic tale that changed the way that we watch movies. In his own words, Joseph Campbell shares that the hero's journey is one of the universal patterns through which radiance shines brightly. He goes on to say, what I think is that a good life is one hero journey after another, over and over again. You're called to the realm of adventure. You're called to new horizons. And each time there is the same problem. Do I dare? And then if you do dare, the dangers are there and the help is there also, and the fulfillment and the fiasco. There's always the possibility of a fiasco, but there's also the possibility of bliss. So what if things never got better? Well, what if they actually did? What if getting better wasn't about onward and upward progress, but a deepening of the spirit? Or what if it wasn't even about getting better or winning or losing or victory or defeat? What if it really is just about us? The stories we create, the lives we choose to lead, the love that we risk in exchange, even without knowing that we might get it back, that piece of the eternal wisdom that lives through our own myth, that reaches through time, that binds us together across difference. And this path, it winds its way from age to age, carrying that simple truth that we are not alone. And of course, our stories, the ones that we live each and every day, they will be planted in the soil of time. And one day they'll rise up once more to share our wisdom with the ages and with the children of our children. May it forever continue, and may the circle always be unbroken. Ashe, and blessed be.
Just a poem, waving stranger, we're traveling through this world alone. There's no sickness, talk about danger in that bright world to which I go. Well, I'm going there to see my mother.
Ooh, that was incredible. Generosity is at the center of our mission and vision, and it is through generosity that we live our values out loud. What we give allows us to sustain the work of this congregation within and beyond these four walls. When we gather each week, let it remind us of the spirit of generosity and gratitude, recognizing the blessing that it is to carry the work forward together. There are many ways to give to our shared offering. You can text to give at 73256, or you can give directly online. You can also scan the QR code or give as the basket comes your way. Thank you for making this possible, with added thanks to our pledging members for their ongoing and generous financial support. While the offering is collected, you are invited to come forward and light a candle honoring a milestone, concern, or celebration. Ushers, you may come forward to receive the offering.
When we gather, we bring so much with us. We bring a multitude of joys and sorrows, celebrations and concerns. And rather than leave it all at the door, we make space to hold it all in this space, knowing that we can be each other's guides and faithful companions. This morning, our hearts are lifted to the victims and the families of the shooting that took place at the Catholic school in Minneapolis, Minnesota this past week. There are no words and not enough candles and not enough thoughts or prayers that can touch this kind of tragedy, but we hold them in our hearts still. We know that there are things that we could do, so many things we should do as a society to prevent this type of violence, and we will continue to do whatever work in our own lives and in our own institutions to make those changes. But for now, we light our one candle for all of the victims of mass violence, for the children and the families, for our communities here and our communities beyond, for those that we have lost, and for those that we must protect. May we commit to a safer world, and may we never stop believing that a safer world is possible. Won't you join me in a moment of silence? I now invite you to join me in a time of stillness, of contemplation, of rootedness and connection, a time of prayer. Perhaps lowering your gaze or closing your eyes altogether. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of all our lives and all our love, Spirit that connects us through time and space, Spirit that is in the journey, that dwells among all of us. We call that Spirit into this space, into this place, knowing that it is woven tightly, knowing that it grows and it changes and it becomes and it returns again and again. As we travel throughout our days and our weeks and our months, as we travel beyond this space, may we carry that Spirit in our hearts. May we be the authors of our own stories. May we be faithful companions on the journey of others. May we meet the crossroads with courage and bravery, even if we are curious or confused. May we look to each other, connecting beyond perfection, beyond difference, connecting despite it all, because of it all, and in celebration of it all. Our hearts are lifted to all those who are mourning this morning, all those who have lost, who are worried, who are concerned. May we keep finding each other throughout time, throughout place. May we keep finding ourselves in each other. May we continue this journey wrapped up in love, bound and connected, preparing for the next adventure, the next train, the next journey, and celebrating this one. Hearts wide open. May it always be so. Ashe, and blessed be. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for a closing hymn. Isn't it? Our benediction, as always, comes in the form of gratitude. So much gratitude this morning for our guest musician, Jessica Borgnis. Gratitude to our ushers and our greeters and our sound people, our tech people, and all the ways that we gather to create this space Sunday after Sunday, time after time. What a joy it is to be together. Now, won't you join us in our closing words?
Our service is now ended. Please join me in reading the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be seated for the closing music.
Like a band that Moses led, God's gonna trouble.